Hello and welcome to our parent-teacher conference for Sam. First of all, I just want to say what a pleasure it has been to have Sam in our class this year. She's very caring and thoughtful, and she takes initiative, and she truly cares about her learning. So if you don't have any questions right now, we can begin. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so over the course of the past 2 months, I've been assessing Sam's literacy skills so that I know where she is at academically, and then I can adjust my instruction accordingly to provide her with individualized instruction that she needs. So the literacy competencies that I have assessed are the following: phonemic awareness, which is a skill that's used to identify sounds in oral language. So that's something that could be in the dark. So if I'm saying boat, what are the sounds in boat? Saying boat. So that's phonemic awareness. Phonics is another skill that I've been assessing, and phonics is the connection between letters and their sounds. So it's a skill that's vital to learning how to both read and write. So that would be looking at the paper and seeing the letters and then making that connection to the sounds. Vocabulary is another competency that has been assessed of Sam, and vocabulary is the collection of words that one uses to express thoughts, ideas, or opinions in a language. Fluency is also a competency, and that's accurately reading at the correct speed and with proper expression. And then comprehension was the last competency, and that is the process of interpreting the text and constructing meaning. And when used all together, these literacy skills will help Sam in her academic development and career. So it's very vital that she gets these down because they'll help her in every subject area, not just reading and writing. So one strength that Sam has clearly showed falls under the category of phonemic awareness, and she has showed a lot of development in blending sounds together, or being able to look at the separate phonemes, the separate sounds, and blend them all together. So if she sees or if she hears o, blending those all together into phone to hear that entire sound instead of just the individual phonemes or the sounds that make up a word. Sam also shows a lot of knowledge of silent E or CVE words, which is just consonant, vowel, consonant, and then the E at the end, which is silent and makes the vowel say its name. And she showed a lot of knowledge of those words, and that's a phonics skill because she was able to look at those words and read them accurately. Sam also had an accuracy rate of 98% in comprehension and was very strong at retelling the text that she just read with precise details. So after reading through that passage that I gave her, she was very good at expressing to me what was just read. One way that I would like to support Sam's development of blending sounds together is by introducing more vocabulary to the class and breaking the words down into their individual phonemes and having students blend the sounds by repeating the word back to me. So basically what I just did with you of saying boat and then saying to the class, what word did I just say? And having them blend that together and repeat it back to me. But of course using a little bit more difficult words than boat. A research-based strategy that can be used with Sam to support her continued development of the silent E, the CVE, or CVCE words, is a word sort. A word sort is when students are given a bunch of words that are just random vocabulary words that have to do with a concept they're learning, and they put them under the correct category that it goes into. So if you're having them do it based on consonant, vowel, consonant, and then a silent E words, you can give her, or I would give her, multiple words to sort through, and she would then find the ones that apply to that pattern, and she would sort them into that category. One strategy that could be used to help support Sam's skill of retelling the text is just to teach students to stop periodically as they're reading and to summarize what's been read so far to themselves in their head, as well as to formulate questions and make predictions about what they think is going to happen, because that also helps them with the summarizing aspect, because they are taking what they've read and applying it to the future by thinking critically about what could happen. So those are some ways that I would like to support Sam as she continues to develop those strengths that I talked about. And now that we've taken a look at some of Sam's strengths, I would like to discuss some areas of growth and how we can work together to help Sam improve on these areas. One weakness that Sam showed during the quick phonics screener, which was just one of the assessments that I gave her, was spelling 3 and 4 syllable words. So those words that just have more syllables and get a little bit more difficult. Another area of growth that Sam has is finding words that articulate a definition. For example, coming up with a synonym to help define a word as opposed to using the word in the definition. And so I don't think that she doesn't necessarily understand what the word is, it's just she can't come up with the right synonyms to use in place of that word. Fluency is another area of growth for Sam due to her being below the suggested level for students of her age. So after giving her that assessment, she fell below. So that's another area of growth and improvement that I'd like to discuss. So in order to help Sam with spelling 3 and 4 syllable words, I plan on teaching her more syllabication patterns, and that just means patterns of a word being broken down into its different syllables, kind of like that CVCE, the silent E words that I was talking about. So I plan on teaching her more syllabication patterns and using word sorts that I already described to you to strongly develop her understanding of those patterns so that she can then use them to sound out words and to help spell those larger 3 and 4 syllable words. A way to help Sam develop her ability to define a word is by working with her on synonyms of various Tier 2 words. And Tier 2 words just means that they're words that you don't necessarily use in everyday life that little babies understand, but they're higher level thinking words. So just going over synonyms of words like that so that she can get a better understanding of how to define them. One way I plan on supporting Sam in her development of fluency is by providing her with appropriate text for her reading level and to slowly increase the difficulty while continuing to support her along the way. So I think that that'll really help her feel confident in her fluency because it'll be an appropriate text for her, but then also slowly increasing the difficulty so that she's developing that skill. One thing that you can do at home to support Sam with her spelling is to help practice through her weekly spelling words that I hand out at the beginning of the week and to continue to encourage her in her spelling and help her with sounding things out. Something else that you can do at home is to help expose Sam to more Tier 2 words, and that could be by providing her with higher level texts that she needs to read, so maybe going to the library and finding those books that have those words in them. And you could even read them aloud to her, or just provide her with those actual texts. A huge thing that you as parents can do to model, or is to model appropriate fluency. So fluency was the skill that she could use the most development in. And so modeling fluency by reading aloud to Sam is a very powerful way to help her develop that aspect of fluency. And it may seem a little silly since she is in 4th grade, but I can assure you that it's a powerful method, and kids never really outgrow reading aloud. So I have some questions for you. What do you see at home with Sam in regards to literacy development?
I think that she's expressed an interest and desire to read more adventure books and chapter books and the kind of series books.
Yeah.
So that is encouraging because it shows that she's enjoying reading.
Yeah, absolutely. What's something involving literacy that Sam gets really excited about? I know you're saying those chapter books, so what are some things she really just gets excited about in regards to literacy?
Well, I think that maybe I blended the questions, but that she just gets involved in the stories and looks forward to continuing to read, and the time that we have allotted for her to read, she'll go through it quickly and wants to keep reading, and that's exciting for us.
Cool. And then how can I help to support you as you support Sam?
I think just by telling us, keeping us apprised of what she's experiencing at school, and so that we can know that she's progressing.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that you are clear on everything. Are you clear on everything that we've discussed? Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any development in Sam's literacy competencies over the time you've been conducting this assessment?
Yeah, that's a good one. I have noticed that Sam has started to increase her awareness of what we were doing as we're going along. So at the beginning, starting to give her some of the assessments, she didn't understand what was happening. But as we continued, she realized that it was kind of me assessing where she was at. And so I've seen her take it more seriously. And because she knows that it's something I'm continuing to do, she takes literacy within the classroom a little bit more seriously and works hard to develop those skills within the class. So I have seen an increase in her literacy competencies.
How do you know that these assessments are accurate?
Yeah, so these assessments that I've been using, they've been used over many years with many students, and they've been proven by research to be accurate, and they can be given more than once to continue to assess her. It's not just something that's given once, because that wouldn't be very accurate, but throughout the year to continue to assess her development.
And the last question I had is why do you think that assessing these skills is important?
Yeah, so assessing these skills that Sam has is extremely important because it speaks into my instruction to her. I want to make sure that I'm tailoring my instruction to what she needs. And the way that I do that is by assessing her knowledge. And these literacy competencies, like I said, are going to be vital to her future education because she'll need them in every subject level. So again, I just wanted to let you know what a pleasure it's been to have Sam in our class. She really adds a lot of fun and excitement to our learning environment, and thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.